Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is a big day in the market, and this is one of the days people are going to remember as confirmation of everything that I've been saying for a long time. The stock market is crashing. It's a slow motion crash right now. We're going to see 2,000 to 3,000 point drops. We're heading into a recession. It is going to take people by surprise. If you watch this channel, you will not be surprised at all. Hit subscribe right this second, ladies and gentlemen. Eric, thank you so very much. Luke, to my moderators, thank you. If you want to support this live stream and my live streams via Super Chat, if you want to talk about the market, any topic at all, Russia, Ukraine, mashed potato brains, our president, and his administration full of highly educated imbeciles and buffoons, go ahead via Super Chat. That would be greatly appreciated. Facebook misses earnings, is down something like 80 points. So we can go right now. Facebook is down 82 points. Okay, 82 points. And so $82 today. Missed earnings, blamed Apple's privacy features and also the global economy or supply chain issues. And Elon Musk, Jeremy Grantham, Michael Burry, they've all predicted either a stock market, a devastating stock market crash or a recession. And I wrote in the Federalist last year, okay, you can type in H.A. Goodman, Federalist. It's in the pinned comment of every one of my segments. I said that this is going to lead to a financial crisis. We are going to have a stock market crash, and it's because of Democratic Party policies. But I'm going to read you this. Meta shares sink 20% early on. It's more than that. As Facebook loses daily users for the first time. So they've lost daily users for the first time. They lost something like 500,000 to 1 million users. And so people are not really... they're not as interested in Facebook or Instagram as they used to be. Now, the interesting thing with Facebook is that they're trying to create this alternate universe, this meta cyber digital world that you can just dive into. It is a dystopian nightmare. And I don't see why anyone, and I can understand why people want to retreat even further, even deeper into the cyber, the cyber reality. I can get why some people would want to, but actual reality, speaking to people, talking to people, breathing air, going out. Like, I'm not an avid outdoorsman, but it's not like I love hiking or anything, but going to a restaurant is a wonderful thing for me. It's like a great thing, having dinner with family is a wonderful thing. Being with my family is a wonderful thing. Friends, why do you want to an avatar? Do we not have enough of social media? You actually have to become an actual, avatar. You actually have to become the avatar. So I don't get that. I really don't get that. Okay, I don't understand how that's going to help, any company, especially when they just missed earnings. So Twitter also is down. All of these, and I have to say this is kind of hilarious. So Jim Cramer, really quickly, it's just really funny. I mean, he's an interesting personality. PayPal missed earnings and Facebook missed earnings. He has advocated, or whatever you want, said that they're good buys, or it's been like a very bad week for picking stocks. I mean, the man is, before PayPal and before Facebook, said, oh yeah, they're good, and each of them have tanked and missed earnings. So he's not doing very well in terms of predicting stocks. Meta platform weak forecast sparks meltdown of social media stocks. The 95 to 98% of the revenue for Facebook and Twitter and all of these social media companies is advertising, okay? We're going into a recession that I have talked about. This is going to take people by surprise. Okay, it's going to take people by surprise. And you're going to see pundits, and you're going to see, people in Congress and AOC and Elizabeth Warren and all the million pundits on the left. They're going to find some way. They're going to find some way to blame. They're going to find some way to blame Trump. I mean, it's going to be, they're going to find some way to blame Trump. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to find some way to blame Trump. And the really hilarious thing is that it's not going to be anything to do with Trump. It's going to be 100% their decision to end economic activity 2 years ago. Okay? Exactly. Itchy brain. Exactly. What they did was they ended economic activity and they pumped $10 trillion into the economy. And the monetary stimulus is ending. The quantitative easing is ending. And you have QE ending. You have the Fed tapering beginning. And you have interest rates that are going to increase. So there's going to be an interest rate increase 3 different times. Okay? 3 different times. So you're looking at a really, really tough situation for a lot of companies. David's here. Hello. To my viewers in Canada, God bless you. Especially the Canadians that are really trying to save their country. God bless you. This is a very bad thing for the market because you have, Facebook was helping the S&P 500 tremendously. Now you have other tech companies that did well, but Facebook, okay, the market is so in such a bubble that this type of thing is just yet another crack in the armor, yet another example of bad times ahead. Everything is overvalued because $10 trillion was pumped into the economy through fiscal and monetary stimulus. I talk about that in The Federalist. I talk about the fiscal and monetary stimulus and the $10 trillion. That was done to replicate an economy. I'll just read this. To duplicate economic activity or replicate an economy, it didn't work. The opposite took place. Inflation is through the roof. We are going into hyperinflation. And I don't think that the Fed can actually stop that because if you raise interest rates, you tank the market. The market's going to tank whether it's inflation or whether it's interest rates. It's going to tank. Either way, the market is going to crash 2,000 to 3,000 point days. Okay? You're going to see that happen. And Elizabeth Warren is going to be taken completely by surprise. AOC will be taken completely by surprise. All the liberal pundits on CNN and MSNBC will be taken completely by surprise. And it'll be directly their fault. It'll be the policies that they pushed for. Their fault. You cannot end economic activity. Freedom Marker Studio, hello. Tammy, hello. The Songbird, hello. TikTok took a lot of Facebook users away. We'll read this. Meta Platforms weak forecast sparks meltdown of social media stocks. Facebook owner Meta Platforms Inc. quarterly earnings miss and poor forecast on Wednesday ignited a meltdown in social media stocks and threatened to smother a recent recovery from a Wall Street tech sell-off. Meta tumbled 21 points following its quarterly report after the bell, erasing about $200 billion worth of its stock market value. Facebook and Twitter will eventually be MySpace, the MySpace of the internet. Now, Twitter is in worse shape than Facebook. Much worse. At least Facebook has Instagram, and it's much larger than Twitter is. And it probably has more active users, but it's losing users. People are leaving Facebook and Twitter, okay? They're leaving Facebook and Twitter. And then you have the government say, oh, well, Facebook's not being responsible. Well, it's like how many very peaceful demonstrations in the summer of 2020 with $1 to $2 to $3 billion in property damage. It's $1 to $2 billion just in property damage that was claimed. You have billions in property damage that wasn't insured. And these Democratic senators and Congress people, they're so clueless, and it's unbelievable how disingenuous they are. You don't think anyone, any left-leaning organization organized events that led to property damage and lives lost, but because of demonstrations that were left-leaning all that year, and they focused on January, but they don't focus on the summer, because media will always try to paint anything that happens in a favorable light for Democrats and in some kind of negative light for Trump or Republicans. It's pretty unbelievable. But here, Meta tumbled 21% following its quarterly report after the bell, erasing about $200 billion worth of its stock market value. A decline of this size in Thursday's session would mark the company's worst one-day loss since its Wall Street debut in 2012. It's not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen, that it's the worst one-day loss is taking place right now. It's not a coincidence. Suzanne, hello. It's not a coincidence that, it's not a coincidence that we're seeing this. The worst one-day loss in Facebook's history. Okay, they're losing. They are losing. They're actually losing users. All right? And so you have a situation where this is only the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? The Bitcoin, I believe, is going to get to $10,000 per coin. I think it's going to descend from where it is right now, 36,000 or so, to 10,000. I think the Dow is going to get to around 20,000 from where it's at now. Okay? Dow Jones is down 337 today. Or let's see. 307. Okay, it's at 35,000. All right? I think that the Dow Jones will get to 20,000. Back to, if you look at the chart, it reached, 19,000 March 20th, 2020. And with inflation going to go far past 7%, they're trying to cut inflation down to 2%. I don't know how that would be possible with global supply chain breakdown and a bubble, real estate bubble with Evergrande and defaulting in China and other companies in China, real estate companies on the verge of default. We have a housing bubble here. We have an equities bubble. We have a bond market bubble also. When rates go up, bond prices are going to tank. And when the Fed tapers, bond prices are going to be hurt as well. So we inflated the economy because of a self-induced one. We allowed we allowed unelected bureaucrats to tell us what to do. And it's only going to get worse from here. It's only going to get worse from here. We're heading into a recession. The Atlanta Fed, okay, let's just look here. Fed percent. Okay, so the Atlanta Fed right here. The Atlanta Fed GDP Now estimate. Okay, for the first quarter, it's right here, people. It's right here. Okay? It's right there. This is the Atlanta Fed, Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, GDP Now forecast. I'm not making it up. I am one of the few people in politics on YouTube. In politics, now a lot of people who focus on investment have been saying this. It's true. I'm not the only person on YouTube. I'm one of the only people, if not the only person in the realm of politics, saying there's going to be a stock market crash and a recession. And it's the fault of the Democratic policies that push to end economic activity, to help people. They caused all the economic problems that they claim to want to address. And so I'll read you this right now. GDP Now model estimates real GDP growth in the first quarter of 2022 is 0.1%. So we go from what, 5.6% or so, GDP growth in the fourth quarter of 2021, down to 0.1%, estimated 0.1%. It's going to get bad. I am telling everyone watching. There's not a lot of people on these live streams now, but I thank each and every one of you. Okay? I thank each and every one of you for watching. But we're going to have a lot more people when everyone is talking about the stock market crash, and everyone is talking about the recession, and everyone is talking about how bad the economy is, not just in the United States of America, in Mexico, in Mexico and Brazil, in Germany, in Argentina, in countries around the world. They are experiencing very, very tough times, either a recession or near recession. It's going to get very bad. And I have been telling people it's going to get bad. I have been telling people to save money. As I beg for super chat, the market's going. Jeremy Grantham, Michael Burry, these people are right. These people know a lot more than I do. These people are right. And exactly, Tammy, Facebook is losing subs every single day. Twitter doesn't even, exactly, IH. It's the next MySpace. Twitter, we don't even know what the daily monetizable users are, or, we don't even know if, we have no clue, for example, how many users are really using Twitter. Okay, they lost hundreds of millions of dollars a couple quarters ago. Twitter has $4 billion in debt. Facebook is obviously, a much better company in terms of, making money and how big it is and how much money, how much revenue and profit. But Twitter is in really bad shape. But if you look right here, GDP Now estimate, the GDP Now model estimate for real GDP in the first quarter of 2022 is 0.1% on February 1st. Okay? Unchanged after January 28th, unchanged from January 28th after rounding. So, you look, ladies and gentlemen, and it's like, how are you going to go into 2022 with 0.1% GDP growth? Okay, 0.1% GDP growth. And then you have inflation that's rampant through the roof, close to 15% inflation. If it was calculated in the manner that the consumer price index was calculated in the early 1980s. And you have to understand, like, the people who blame Trump for everything, they don't know what the consumer price index is. They don't really understand the concept of inflation. I mean, they know what it is, kind of, but it's not really important to them. It's not important to them. It's not, these things are like not important. If it doesn't correlate to how bad Trump is, they don't really care about it. Okay? They don't really care about it. And they're trying now. I mean, we don't even know, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of like a geopolitical crisis like Russia-Ukraine, we don't know how that's really going to affect the stock market or the global economy. You keep sanctioning Russia, and they shut the tap, they shut down the supply of oil and natural gas to Europe. Russia shuts down 30 to 40% of natural gas to Europe, and Biden already approved the Nord Stream 2 pipeline to Germany. So, I mean, it wasn't even our call to really approve it, but we had a lot of say in it. And Biden, well, what does Putin have on mashed potato brains? What does Russia have on the Democrats? How does that sound? That's the propaganda they use. Okay? Everything they leveled against Trump was projection. They're the ones in bed with adversaries. Literally, in some cases, if you look at one California congressman. And you have Facebook. I mean, people are going to remember today, Facebook losing. How do you miss earnings if you're Facebook? How does that happen? When people are basically forced to stay home. People have been forced to stay home up until recently. Okay? And so how do you miss earnings? Well, you miss earnings because they blamed Apple's privacy. Well, we'll read it right here. Meta said its hits. Facebook's global daily active users declined from the previous quarter for the first time from 1.929 billion to 1.29 billion from 1.93 billion. Now, there aren't a billion people on Facebook every day. I really don't think there are. I don't think there's 1.9 billion on Facebook every day. I think that you could maybe have 800 million. Maybe on some days a billion. But I don't think that, 1 out of every 7 people on the planet is on Facebook. That makes no sense. Okay. This is like marketing. Especially like this is marketing. But anyway, Meta said it faced hits from Apple's privacy changes to its operating system. When you lose money because Apple actually cared for a moment about privacy, that's not really a great business model, I don't think. If you're losing money because Apple, for a second, cared about privacy, that's not good. That's not a good thing. And so, I mean, you gotta ask yourself. Okay, you have Facebook tanking today. You have GDP at 0.1% for the first quarter. Okay, look, 4.1%. for the first quarter of 2022. Facebook stock tanking. The Dow Jones is down 255. Okay, look at the past month. It's rebounded somewhat, but this is going to go way down. Way down. Okay? Because you've had earnings from, gigantic, enormous behemoths, and they've done pretty well. Facebook is one of the PayPal, Facebook. You're seeing disappointing earnings, and even the forecast for even companies that had good earnings isn't very positive. So, like I said, inflation, supply chain breakdown, key labor shortages, you have political strife, but you have geopolitical nightmares like Russia, Ukraine, or China, Taiwan later in this year. Okay, God forbid. But, all of these things are taking place under mashed potato brains, our beloved president. Now, this is really bad. Past month, the Dow lost, it says 1,200 points, but it went up. It had a little bit of a rally the past week or so. I don't know when people will actually say, okay, officially this is a stock market crash. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. But we're heading towards a very, very bad heading towards a very bad economy in 2022. Once they start raising interest rates, you're going to see not only the stock market truly, nobody will doubt that it's crashing. I've been saying that this is a slow motion crash. We're seeing the beginning of the crash now. But when they start raising interest rates, like in March, like next month, and the quantitative easing officially ends, and inflation isn't, when inflation keeps going up, very likely inflation is going to keep going up. Okay, very likely, very likely inflation is not going to stop going up. If I needed the money, if I was retiring at the end of the year, or even if I was retiring next year, there's no way I'd be in the stock market. Even if I was retiring next year, there's no way I would be in the stock market. And it's like we knew that all of this, we didn't consult as a society economists. So generally, when you make economic decisions, you consult, you have a discussion, or at least a consultation, or you get the input of economists. Okay, we had unelected officials revered to the point of absurdity. These unelected officials, these bureaucrats, said we needed to tank our economy. And that's exactly what took place. We are not, this rebound is simply a matter of allowing people to work. Not a rebound. You're not really rebounding by allowing society to function. Okay? Simply saying that, pumping $10 trillion into the economy through stimulus checks and through Fed quantitative easing, the purchasing of treasury and government debt, you're not duplicating an economy. You are making it far more desirable to invest in risky stocks and also cryptocurrencies. Now, I respect people who invest in Bitcoin. I do. I respect people who invest in Bitcoin, but I think Bitcoin's going to get to 10,000. I think that Bitcoin's going to get to 10,000. I think that the Dow is going to tank to around 20,000. Once you have, see, we have not seen the stock market or the economy. We have not seen the economy or the stock market react to truly devastating news, or, Sharon Isaacson, thank you. Starting off the super chat, thank you, with a slow motion crash. Would we expect a slow motion recovery? I think it would be a very slow motion recovery. I think it would take a couple of years. Yeah, at least. I think it would take a couple of years. Sharon, thank you so very, very much. I think it would take a couple of years. If Michael Burry and Jeremy Grantham and Warren Buffett and others are right, this is going to be a devastating. I mean, the slow motion part, Sharon, is I'm trying to explain to people that this is not a correction. And this is not just, Sharon and everybody here, the economy and the stock market are going to be political issues. And what I mean by that is we're going to look and everyone is going to realize that one political side brought this upon the country. I mean, it was one political side. Democrats did this. The Democratic Party and never Trump Republicans, media, especially media, they helped plunge the country into a recession. We didn't have to react to you-know-what in the manner we did. Simply saying that there was a consensus among any consensus cited by the Democratic Party or media is a contrived, coerced, fabricated one. What they do is any dissent is completely ignored or refuted within a second, or they attempt to refute any dissent within 1 second. And so, Sharon, I think it's going to take a while. I think it's going to take, I think it's going to take at least when we hit the recession later this year or the beginning of 2023, and when we get an actual 2,000 to 3,000 point drop, which I don't want to happen. I don't want people to lose money. Okay? I don't want that to happen. But it's going to happen. When it does take place, you're going to see the market descend, and I don't know how fast it's going to be. I mean, it could be a catastrophe. Like, it could go down very quickly, or it could go down 2, 3, 4, 5,000 points within a couple of months. 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 points, 9,000 points within a couple of months. Within 3 to 4 to 5 months. You don't know. You don't know how this is going to play out. The only thing you do know is that Jim Cramer doesn't have a fantastic track record. Okay? He doesn't really have a great track record. I mean, this is PayPal and Facebook within the same week or so. Facebook losing daily users for the first time ever. I mean, that says something about the future. You know, they're losing users, and then they're going to create this world where you interact with people through an avatar. What kind of nightmarish scenario is that? Why would anyone want to do that? Why would anyone want to do that? And you see, like, I think the Wall Street Journal had, I was watching a journalist talk about how she was on that Meta universe or Meta platform. And it's like she was conversing with people, but it's like the people are speaking in their own voice. So it's just very bizarre. Like, they should at least have, like, different voices. You know what I mean? Quantum football! Which commodity do you think is going to tank? Fertilizer or Splenda? Well, Alec Baldwin, the esteemed, definitely not disgraced actor who ended someone's life because he didn't check a firearm and, fired the weapon when the armor wasn't in the church. Hours after a protest of camera crew, he has cornered the market, quantum football, on Splenda. So I'm just hoping for yet another young person to give him a packet of Splenda with chicken scratch writing and, a really gruesome and horrific drawing of a happy face, which almost certainly he drew, which is really funny. I don't understand it. I don't understand why anyone would. But see, the thing is, you know what it is? They're desperate. And look, you're talking about people who they probably don't see things. I mean, they're set for life in terms of money. It's not about money, but the global economy has been revised downwards. I mean, the global economy is going to contract. We're already seeing recessions in Germany, or close to a recession in Germany, in Mexico, in Brazil, in Argentina, and other countries. Russia and Ukraine could be a terrible. Well, I mean, God bless the people of Ukraine. God bless the Ukrainian people. I don't want. I don't want that to. I don't want. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. I just, Biden is sending Americans, which makes no sense at all. I mean, it's like Biden sending thousands of troops to Eastern Europe. For what purpose? For what purpose? This is all like public relation. The man doesn't know how to lead. He doesn't know how to lead, this man. What is he going to do? Get us into a ground war with Russia? That would be mutually assured destruction. They have more nuclear weapons, I believe, than we do. So we're not going to get into a military confrontation with Russia. We learned that in the Cold War. Apparently, Biden didn't learn anything. And he knows very well that, look, mashed potato brains knows very well that Putin doesn't care. And God bless the Americans that we're sending. We shouldn't be sending them. We should not be sending them. There's no point. This is a public relations stunt. Okay? It's a public relations stunt. What is the point? Does anyone on the planet think that Putin believes or Putin wants to invade other countries? No. The entire issue there is NATO and the U.S. have no intention of allowing Ukraine into NATO. This is disingenuous and harmful and a terrible, terrible foreign policy catastrophe. We had no business. If NATO was not interested in Ukraine joining its alliance, it should never have. Western countries should never have given them the idea or the hope or the dream of one day becoming a NATO member. President Zelensky asked for NATO membership. He wanted Ukraine to become part of NATO. That is an existential issue. That's top. That's one of the greatest national security concerns of Russia. They will never allow that to take place for a whole lot of reasons. And their military, their economic security, and their national security is tied to Ukraine. They also feel encircled by NATO. So the Cold War is over. It's been over for 20, 30 years. 30 years. 30 plus years. But you know what? I mean, the thing is, it's like, when you have this type of foreign policy, see, this wouldn't have taken place under Trump, and here's why. Trump would have made it very clear to Russia that he has no intention of Ukraine joining NATO. With Biden and Democrats, Russia's not really that sure. And so this is a geopolitical nightmare. Who knows how the stock market, that's not really, I'm worried about families and people losing their lives and, more people losing their lives. It's a terrible situation. I don't want Ukraine to be invaded. I think, that's wrong. But we would never allow Mexico or Canada, or you look at the Monroe Doctrine, we won't even allow anyone in Latin America, in the Western Hemisphere, to join any opposing alliance. We're always, during the Cold War, the Monroe Doctrine was the reason that we intervened throughout Latin America. We did not want the Soviet Union to gain a foothold. So it's not like we wouldn't have done the same thing. But, then you have China and Taiwan. You have all of these problems, ladies and gentlemen. All of these issues are taking place. And the market is in a bubble. And when that pops, you're going to have not only, you will have derivatives causing hedge funds to go under. Hedge funds like Archegos, the hedge fund that went under. Okay? The Archegos hedge fund that went under. You're going to see these companies go bankrupt because they're going to have margin calls in the billions of dollars. Boru, hello. Everyone here, hello. Liana, hello. Irma, hello. You're going to have companies that, hedge funds, banks, from derivatives trades, derivatives purchased on margin, Bitcoin purchased on margin, stocks purchased on margin. Everyone is over-levered. Everyone has too much leverage. Far too much leverage. Okay, far too much leverage. Thomas! Thank you, Thomas! Thomas O'Connor, thank you! Greatly appreciated, Thomas. Thank you. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Your super chat is very important for me to do these live streams, and I appreciate it very much. Thomas, you know that things are bad. And everybody here, you know that things are bad. You know that things are bad when fertilizer is 200% more expensive. Okay? Okay? When crap is overpriced, you're looking at a bad economy. Okay? When fertilizer prices are through the roof, and when fertilizer prices are through the roof, and food prices are through the roof, and aluminum, uranium, everything, commodities are through the roof. Thank you again, Thomas. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. You have all of these problems and wealth inequality. Like, you have the issue, like these issues like wealth inequality. You know, fossil fuels are at all-time highs. Oil, natural gas, coal. Why are they at all-time highs? Okay? The reason is because everything they do, the opposite takes place. Exactly. Sharon, I agree with you. I agree with you. Everything is going up. And everything is going up. And everything is becoming more expensive. The supply chain issues they're not being taken care of. These aren't bottlenecks. They just they use these euphemisms. Oh, these bottlenecks. And this is just momentary or temporary. Or, no, these are festering problems. They're getting worse. They're not getting better. They're getting worse. These problems are existing. These problems have existed now. For a year now, and they haven't really gotten any better. They've gotten worse, and this is without geopolitical strife. You can't say without, but this is without any major calamity, any global catastrophe like a major war. Oil is at $100. Oil prices, let's see. Let's see. $87. Okay. It's easily going to get to over $100. Okay. Easily going to get to over $100 per barrel. So let's just, for the close to 200 people on this live stream, let's just go through the litany of terrible things right now. Oil, close to $100. It'll pass $100 per barrel. Inflation, it's over 7%. It's only going to get worse. If you listen to Peter Schiff, it's 15%. If the consumer price index was calculated the way it was in the early 1980s. You have oil at $100 per barrel, close to it. You have inflation well over 7%, 15%. You have supply chain problems that are getting worse. They're not getting better. They're getting worse. Okay? You have labor shortages in key industries. Okay? And that's bad. You've displaced millions upon millions of workers. In January of 2020, we went from record lows in unemployment to 22 million people unemployed in March of that year. Okay? 22 million people were unemployed, but you better believe the Democratic primaries demanded people actually wait in line. They definitely had in-person primaries. They didn't have in-person restaurants or offices, but they had in-person primaries because Democrats know exactly what's going on. They know exactly how to utilize the system to their advantage because they're the ones who pretty much run the system, unfortunately. So, look, you know what? This is not, like I always say, it's not a matter of, like, your life, your happiness, you know, success, personal, and, you know, as long as you know what's going on, professional success, your life should be focused on success and happiness and joy and laughter. The trajectory of your life should go in an opposite direction to the trajectory of our country. Gnarly news, thank you. Our country is going to you-know-where in a handbasket, unfortunately. We will survive. We will rebound eventually. In the near term, it won't be fun. That's why I think, like, I think that the stock market, the economy, we're heading towards a recession. Politically, in terms of geopolitics, things are going to get worse. I just don't see anything getting better. That does not mean you can't focus on happiness, being safe, preparing. If you need money saved, then save that money. Exactly, Eric. If you can grow your own vegetables or fruits, start doing so. I would prepare with canned goods too. I mean, there's really I'm not if you're about to retire, you have no business being in the market. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to tell anyone what to do. Invest here or do this or do that. But I just do not think that this is a good time for the economy or for geopolitics or for the country or for the world in general. We reacted in the the Democratic Party and media and never Trump Republicans reacted in the most apoplectic, hysterical, irrational, counterproductive manner. And we are now experiencing the consequences. And I'm doing these live streams in the morning sometimes, and I have my stock market crash channel, so hit subscribe there to the stock market crash channel. I will have a segment on this on the stock market crash channel after this live stream. So definitely be there for the stock market crash channel. I don't think people really realize. I don't think people understand that things are going to get really bad. I don't think that people get that. I don't think they get that. I don't think I don't think people understand because we've never, in March, it was a self-induced, in March of 2020, it was a self-induced market crash. And there was hysteria and paranoia that dominated people's thinking. And it was very frightening, too, because the hysteria and paranoia itself weren't as frightening as how fast and how easy, how quick people went from, hey, let's have a normal life to, oh my God, oh my God, not only is the sky falling, but let's listen to these unelected officials in media. The ability for media to frighten and petrify, to get people absolutely petrified and fearing their own shadow. It's breathtaking, it's stunning, it's frightening, horrifying. You always hear that from liberal Democrats. Trump is horrifying. Hey, horrifying. Like, no, what's really horrifying is how quickly people give up rights and freedoms so quickly. It's all for, it's just, what? They'll, the smartest people in the room. Of course, they don't allow people to tell them what to invest. That they're not going to allow. So the cost-benefit analysis, or the risk-reward analysis or ratio, or the cost-benefit evaluation doesn't extend beyond certain topics. Apparently, when it comes to certain topics, you're not allowed to develop or evaluate a cost-benefit ratio or analysis on your own. But you better believe that none of these wonderful, morally superior people are allowing anyone to tell them when to buy Tesla or when to sell Bitcoin or when to do anything in terms of stocks or their financial decisions. You weigh the pros and cons every day, everything you do in life, every moment, every second. There's a cost-benefit analysis, especially with especially with stocks and economic issues, of course. You weigh the options. The interesting thing is, I've been working on my Elon Musk, which I will unveil tonight. I've been working on my. I can't. I'm not gonna do it now, but I've been working on my Elon Musk. I have a pretty good Elon Musk imitation, and I'll get to that tonight. So be here. I'll have a live stream tonight by around. I'll try to do it before 8 p.m. I'll try to do a live stream, maybe like around 5 or 6 p.m. or so. We'll see. I'll try to do it earlier, but I have been working on my Elon Musk imitation. The stock market crash. The stock market crash is imagine if you were a no, I can't do it right now. It's almost there, but I'll unveil it tonight. Let's say I'll unveil my Elon Musk imitation tonight. Or voice tonight. It's unbelievable how quickly it's unbelievable how quickly people sell their soul. How quickly people sell their soul. How quickly nowadays people, and I think the only good thing from the recession and stock market crash will be it will at least, for the most apoplectic and hysterical among us, it will give at least some of these people cause or reason to just think twice before engaging in the same type of apoplectic policies. I think that if you look, ladies and gentlemen, you look right here. So let's see. Dow Jones sells off as tech stocks dive as Facebook crashes on earnings. So Tesla dropped also. All the companies and stocks that you saw, go through the roof, they're slowly coming crashing down. The 10-year Treasury yield ticked up to 1.83%. The Treasury yield keeps going up. That's bearish for stocks. And hold on, let me see if I could do my Elon Musk. Imagine the stock market. Imagine the stock market in an ocean. Imagine being a plankton. Imagine if you were a little plankton in a turbulent oceanic storm. Imagine the stock market. Basically, what's going to take place is everyone's going to lose roughly 80%, maybe even 90% of their wealth. Probably 95%. Not me, but you, everybody you know. I'm not saying that it's certain, probably 90%, 95%. But this is my initial Elon Musk imitation. I will perfect it before tonight. It was just the morning, it's just, it's better. It'll be better. It'll be better tonight. But that is just, thank you. Calais, my love, thank you. Gnarly, thank you. Sherilyn, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. It's been an hour. To my super chat, thank you so much. I wanted to do this because, I think it's important. This is a very important time, not only in Primus, thank you, Primus 2004, thank you. It's even better. It's even better when I actually do some thinking about it. But I think that this is just the beginning. People don't realize, oh, you know what? Okay, Facebook, missed earnings, big deal. They don't really understand that this is a precursor to something very bad. And when unfortunately this takes place, I want people who watch my channel to realize that, hopefully you are prepared. Hopefully you understand that, things are going to get a lot worse in terms of the economy. So prepare yourself. I can only really, really ask you to just look at your financial situation. Make sure you have savings. Make sure if you have money in the market and you need liquidity, then make sure you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months of money saved up. If you're about to retire, I don't think you have any business being in the market. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Eric, thank you so very much. To my super chat, thanks everybody. Tammy, thank you. God bless you all. Have a great day, everybody. And I will be back probably around 5 p.m. for a live stream or an upload. Check out my Stock Market Crash channel, but I'll try to do a live stream a little earlier tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much. I'll see you very soon, everybody. Have a great day.